Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Hello, everybody. Sound check. You should be able to hear me. Turn down that volume a little bit. Turn mine up until we don't need to hear all this applauding for a walking skin sack corpse. Hey, good evening, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Just to let you know, you can join us in Discord, and when I say us, there's not many of us in there. There's some people on tonight, but just getting the Discord going again recently, so. Oh, man. Good to see everybody. Yeah, I'm not sure, I might have to actually keep the volume on this low. What am I doing? Not sure, this is just running, I mean, it's running off the official White House channel, so I think it should be okay. Hey, you can stomach it. That's why we're here together, so we can stomach it together, right? I'm gonna let everybody know I don't have anything in here, but for I need to make a sign. Never mind. I'm not even gonna get into it yet until I actually organize it. Well, I'll just tell you, for a $3 super chat, every $3 super chat, just tell me what you want me to make as far as AI art, and I can try and make it with Midjourney. I have a account there now, a paid account. So you just give me a description of what you want through a $3 super chat at least. And I'll make it, post it for you. I don't, oh God, and there's Miley. Man, I do not trust that guy. Something's going on there. I mean, I don't understand why there's not more going on. Hopefully the Republicans will do something with their power, but you know, I find it odd, all these weird coincidences involving General Miley and his involvement with China on the down low. Now, you know, we find out that he had called, had some sort of secret call with China, telling them that he would warn them of an attack if Trump launched an attack, which is just such an odd excuse for that news of that coming out. I just don't buy it. Like, what evidence was there that Trump was going to launch a war or an attack against China? You know what I'm saying? Oh man, here we go. Oh God. The applause. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Lizelle. Oh yeah, this is like Christmas for Biden. It's a hair sniffing Christmas. All right, we got to hear it now, guys. Come on, and girls.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and the distinct honor to present to you the President of the United States.
I'd rather not see the... Wish I could crop the other lady out.
Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, maybe some people here watching need it, so...
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank
What
you.
are they applauding
Please.
exactly?
Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, good to see you guys up there. Members of Congress,
Gosh. The self-love of these people, like, it reminds me of the award ceremonies more and more. Like, who cares about either of these people, honestly?
by the way, Chief Justice, I may need a court order. She gets to go to the game tomorrow, next week. I have to stay home. Got to work something out here. Members of the Cabinet, leaders of our military, Chief Justice, Associate Justice, and retired Justice of the Supreme Court, and to you, my fellow Americans. You know, I start tonight by congratulating the 118th Congress and the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
Meh. He said Ashley Babbitt deserved to get shot. I'd just like to cross-examine him. Anybody that takes that position, they should be cross-examined. They never are.
Ruin your reputation.
Have you noticed that?
To working with you. And I want to congratulate the new leader of the House Democrats, the first African-American minority leader in history, Hakeem Jeffries.
The election-denying Hakeem Jeffries. Yeah. Wait, I thought election deniers were bad. Man, hey, thanks, BM. If I sound like I'm shaking, it's because I'm a little chilly down here in the basement. I had my heater on, but it makes too much noise. Now I'm kind of cold. About to go grab a sweatshirt. I do have one.
I campaigned for him. Congratulations to the longest-serving leader in the history of the United States Senate, Mitch McConnell. Where are you, Mitch?
Man, Cinema's got some junk in the trunk.
Congratulations to Chuck Schumer, another term as Senate Minority Leader. I think you. Only this time you have a slightly bigger majority, Mr. Leader. You're the majority leader.
Oh, Michael.
That much bigger? Yeah. Well, I tell you what. I want to give special recognition to someone who I think is going to be considered the greatest speaker in the history of the House of Representatives.
I got you,
Nancy
Michael.
Pelosi.
1 minute. Hey, Michael, if you come to my Discord, I can give it to you, or I can email it to you or something.
Folks, the story of America is a story of progress and resilience, of always moving forward, of never, ever giving up.
Thank you, by the way, Michael.
It's a story unique among all nations. We're the only country that has emerged from every crisis we've ever entered stronger than we got into it. Look, folks, that's what we're doing again. 2 years ago, the economy was reeling. I stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs. More jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years because of you all.
Drink every time he can't form a sentence. Yes, let's do it. All right,
2 years ago,
Michael, your drawing is coming. Your drawing, your AI drawing, and I can refine
2
it
years ago,
for you.
COVID had shut down. Our businesses were closed. Our schools were robbed of so much. And today, COVID no longer controls our lives. And 2 years ago, democracy faced its greatest threats.
Oh, God.
Today,
Shut up.
bruised, our democracy remains unbowed and unbroken.
Oh, stop. Stop. No. It's like, that's just a fake. No. Democracy was never in danger.
As we gather here tonight, we're writing the next chapter in the great American story, a story of progress and resilience. When world leaders ask me to define America, and they do, believe it or not, I said I can define it in one word, and I mean this: possibilities. We don't think anything is beyond our capacity. Everything is a possibility. You know, we're often told that Democrats and Republicans can't work together. But over the past 2 years, we've proved the cynics and naysayers wrong. Yes, we disagreed plenty. And yes, there were times when Democrats went alone. But time and again, Democrats and Republicans came together. Came together to defend a stronger and safer Europe. It came together to pass once in a generation infrastructure law, building bridges
thanks,
connecting
SB.
our
Really
nation
appreciate it.
and our people. We came together to pass the most significant law ever, helping victims exposed to toxic burn pits. And in fact,
well, hey, that's good, I guess. It's something.
it's important. And in fact, I signed over 300 bipartisan pieces of legislation since becoming president, from reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act, the Electoral Count Reform Act, the Respect for Marriage Act that protects the right to marry the person you love, and to my Republican friends, if we could work together the last Congress, there's no reason we can't work together and find consensus on important things in this Congress as well. I think folks, you all are as formed as I am, but I think the people sent us a clear message. Fighting for the sake of fighting, power for the sake of power, conflict for the sake of conflict gets us nowhere. That's always been my vision of our country, and I know it's many of yours. To restore the soul of this nation, to rebuild the backbone of America, America's middle class, and to unite the country. We've been sent here to finish the job, in my view. For decades, the middle class has been hollowed out in more than, and not no one administration, but for a long time. Too many good-paying manufacturing jobs move overseas. Factories closed down. Once thriving cities and towns that many of you represent became shadows of what they used to be. And along the way, something else we lost: pride, our sense of self-worth. I ran for president to fundamentally change things, to make sure our economy works for everyone, so we can all feel that pride.
Marco, hey, thanks, buddy. Really appreciate it.
From the bottom up in the
Sorry, guys, I'm
middle
working on this AI
out,
drawing for
down.
Michael.
Because when the
Hope you're
middle
still around,
class does
Michael.
well,
I'll put it
the
up here
poor
in a
have
minute.
ladder up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. I know a lot of you always kid me for always quoting my dad, but my dad used to say, Joey, a
These are the
job's
ones,
about a
Michael,
lot
that
more than a paycheck.
originally came up.
He really would say this. It's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity.
But I'm
It's
working
about
on a better
respect.
one here.
It's
It'll
about
be
being able to
ready
look your
soon,
kid in the eye and say,
hopefully.
honey, it's going to be okay.
That's not what I was
and
looking
mean
for.
it.
Nope.
Well, folks, so let's look at the results. We're not finished yet by any stretch of the imagination, but unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year low. A near record unemployment.
No, it's not.
Near record unemployment for black and Hispanic workers. We've already created, with your help,
Trump had record unemployment, and they said they acted like it was nothing, and now they're all clapping because he's near it. Near it. Oh, it is good not seeing Pelosi back there. Y'all got to admit that, right?
I don't know where that's written. For too many decades,
I'm just drinking a little light cider, guys. Nothing big here. Just to lighten the mood a little bit. Thanks a lot, you guys, for the super chats. Really appreciate it. I'm about to have my 4th kid, so I need them. My wife is due literally like any day now. She is ready to go. Anytime. So if I just disappear for a couple days, that's probably why.
And brutal war in Ukraine disrupted energy supplies as well as food supplies, blocking all that grain in Ukraine. But we're better positioned than any country on earth right now. But we have more to do. But here at home, inflation is coming down. Here at home, gas prices are down $1.50 from their peak. Food inflation is coming down, not fast enough, but coming down. Inflation has fallen every month for the last 6 months, while take-home pay has gone up. Additionally, Over the last 2 years, a record 10 million Americans applied to start new businesses. 10 million. And by the way,
Sorry, guys. Let me get the hell away. Let me do this.
every time,
Folks. Oh, shit. I don't need to do that.
every time someone starts a small business is an act of hope. And Madam Vice
that's
President,
cool.
I want to thank you for leading that effort to ensure that small businesses have access to capital and the historic laws we enacted.
All right, here you go,
Just coming
Michael.
to be.
This is what I got right
Standing here
now.
last year,
I can hone in on
I
one of
shared
these. Let
the
me know
story
which of these four you like,
American genius
and
and
I'll hone in on it.
possibilities.
Probably this top, either that one or
Semiconductors.
this one down here.
Small
It's not doing
computer
them
chips
without
the
an
size
arm
of a
for some
fingerprint
reason.
that power everything, from cell phones to automobiles and so much more. These chips were invented in America. Let's get that straight. They were invented in America. We used to make 40% of the world's chips. In the last several decades, we lost our edge. We're down to only producing 10%. We all saw what happened during the pandemic when chip factories shut down overseas. Today's automobiles need 3,000 chips, each of those automobiles. But American automobiles couldn't make enough cars because there weren't enough chips. Car prices went up, people got laid off, so did everything from refrigerators to cell phones. We can never let that happen again. That's why we came together to pass the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act. Folks,
Thanks a lot for that
I've been
super chat.
criticized for
Super
saying
chat
this, but I'm
again,
not changing
Marco.
my view.
And I will keep it
we're going
up.
to make sure the
Thanks.
supply chain for America begins in America. The supply chain begins in America.
What is that thing on the right side of
We've
the
already
screen?
created. We've already created 800,000 new manufacturing jobs without this law, before the law kicks in. With this new law, we're going to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs across the country. And I mean all across the country, throughout not just the coast, but through the middle of the country as well. That's going to come from companies that have announced more than $300 billion in investment in American manufacturing over the next few years. Outside of Columbus, Ohio, Intel is building a semiconductor
That's where I'm at.
on 1,000 acres.
That's true. They are building
Literally
that.
a field of dreams.
Now we're really going to get nuked.
10,000 jobs, that one investment. 7,000 construction jobs.
It's like there's no.
3,000
If
jobs.
World War III breaks out,
Those
we're
factories
definitely
once they're
getting nuked here
finished,
now.
They call them factories. Jobs paying an average of $130,000 a year, and many do not require a college degree. Jobs. Because we work together, these jobs where people don't have to leave home to search for opportunity. And it's just getting started. Think about the new homes, the small businesses, the medium-sized businesses. So much more that's going to be needed.
So much more that might happen sometime in the future when I'm gone.
The factories that are going to be built. Talk to mayors.
I mean,
and
this is stuff that
governors,
started
Democrats
before
and
Biden
Republicans.
got here, so
And
I don't know
they'll
why
tell
he's
you
like taking
what this
credit for
means
that.
for their
I'm pretty sure
communities.
anyway.
We're seeing
That
these
plan-
fields of
well,
dreams
did that plan deal
transform the
happen?
heartland. But to maintain the strongest economy in the world, we need the best infrastructure in the world. And folks, as you all know,
Oh, maybe we did get that under
we used to
Biden.
be #1 in the world in
I
infrastructure.
could have sworn that happened before him.
Sunk
But
to 13th in the world. The United States of America, 13th in the world in infrastructure, modern infrastructure.
why are you shouting at
Now
me?
we're coming back because we came together and passed the bipartisan infrastructure law, the largest investment in infrastructure since President Eisenhower's interstate highway system.
Folks,
Already we've funded over 20,000 projects, including major airports from Boston to Atlanta to Portland. Projects that are going to put thousands of people to work rebuilding our highways, our bridges, our railroads, our tunnels, ports, airports, clean water, high-speed internet. all across
thanks a
America.
lot, Sheldon Brown.
Urban,
Appreciate it,
rural,
man.
Tribal.
I still got bad tennis elbow,
Just
guys, so
getting started.
I gotta like do these
Just
stretches every
getting
now and then. It
started.
really hurts. I've been sitting here editing for like the last 3 hours. I got
And I
tomorrow,
mean this
guys. Big
sincerely.
video coming out, 8 a.m. Eastern. Check it out.
I want to thank
One of my
Republican
long-form
friends who voted
videos.
for the law, and my Republican friends who voted against
I need
it
a
as
drink.
well.
Right back.
But I still get asked to fund the projects in those districts as well. But don't worry. I promised I'd be a president for all Americans. We'll fund these projects. And I'll see you at the groundbreaking. Look, this law will further unite all of America. Projects like Brent Spence Bridge in Kentucky over the Ohio River, built 60 years ago, badly needed repairs. One of the nation's most congested freight
I have
routes,
one of those.
carrying $2
I have all kinds
billion
of stuff for it.
worth of freight every single day.
It's been
across the
crappy.
Ohio
I've had it since like
Folks,
August.
I've been talking about fixing it for decades.
It's
We're
gotten
really
better.
Finally going to get it done.
It was
I
way
went
worse.
there last month with Democrats and Republicans, and from both states, to deliver a commitment of $1.6 billion for this project. And while I was there, I met a young woman named Sarah.
Oh, here we
She's here
go.
tonight. I don't know where Sarah is. Is she up in the box? I don't know. Sarah, how are you? Well, Sarah, for 30 years, I learned, she told me she'd been a proud member of the Iron Workers Local 44, known as the Cowboys in the Sky.
It looks like they got old Joe on cocaine tonight.
Sarah said she can't
He's on
wait to
something.
be 10 stories above the Ohio River building that new bridge. God bless her. That's pride. And that's what we're also building. We're building back pride. Look. we're also
Yes.
replacing
Oh, hey, William Evans. Thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate it. Hi.
400,000 school and child care centers. So every child in America can drink the water instead of having permanent damage to their brain. Look,
Yeah, we don't want permanent damage to their brains.
we're making sure
Biden stopped it, though, apparently.
We're making sure that every community in America has access to affordable high-speed internet.
Like, I just imagine Trump saying
Down the
that.
parking lot to help them do their homework online.
We're going to save the brains.
Many thousands we're doing across the country. And when we do these projects,
They're
again, I
delicious,
get criticized for this, but I have
tasty
no excuses for it.
brains.
We're going to buy American. We're going to buy American. Folks,
But only like 60% of American because the other half are semi-fascists.
and it's totally consistent with international trade rules. Buy America has been the law since 1933, but for too long, past administrations, Democrat and Republican, have fought to get around it.
You
Not
are,
anymore.
Steve. That's because you
Tonight,
are.
I'm announcing new standards that require all construction materials used in federal infrastructure projects to be made in America.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's good, but that's like a no-brainer, right?
Made in America.
Like, why would we not be doing that anyway?
I mean it.
I mean it. God damn. Oh. He enrages me when he says that stuff. I mean it. Not
Drywall,
joking.
Fiber optic cable. And on my watch, American roads, bridges, and American highways are going to be made with American products as well. Folks,
American grass,
my
trees,
plan is about investing
and
in
fields are
places
made
and people
American.
that have been forgotten. So many of you listening to me tonight, I know you feel it. So many of you felt like you've just simply been forgotten. Amid the economic upheaval of the
Because I
past
called you a
decades,
semi-fascist.
too many people have been left behind and treated like they're invisible. Maybe that's you watching from home. Remember the jobs that went away. You remember them, don't you? The folks at home remember them. You wonder whether the path even exists anymore for your children to get ahead without having to move
Like, he's
away.
not inspiring at all. It's like,
That's why-
even if I put aside my hate for him and just try to be
That's why
objective, he's still
we're
just
building
like
an economy where no one's left behind.
such a BSer,
Jobs are
you know?
coming back. Pride is coming back because choices we made in the last several years. You know, this is, in my view, a blue-collar
Chinese
blueprint
eggs.
to rebuild America and make a real difference
know,
in your
man.
lives at home.
Feels like
For
you're
example,
taking a risk.
Too many of you lay in bed at night like my dad did, staring at the ceiling,
Where's
wondering
Michael?
what in God's names happens if your spouse gets cancer, or your child gets deadly ill, or something happens to you. What are you going to have? You get money to pay for those medical bills? Or you're going to have to sell the house or try to get a second mortgage on it. I get it. I get it. The Inflation Reduction Act that I signed into law.
Didn't you hear me say I get it?
We're taking on powerful interest to bring healthcare costs down so you can sleep better at night with more security. You know, we pay more for prescription drugs than any nation in the world. Let me say it again.
Right.
We pay more for prescription drugs than any.
The prescription drugs get made and developed in America.
For example,
Also,
1 in 10
because there's so much money in R&D.
Many of you in this
It's needed.
chamber do.
That's why it's so
In the
expensive.
audience.
Well,
But every day,
that's not
millions need
total.
insulin
That's
to
not
control
totally
their
true.
diabetes,
Actually,
so
they
can
do jack the
literally stay
prices
alive.
up, but
Insulin's been around for over 100 years. The guy who invented it didn't even patent it because he wanted it to be available for everyone. It cost the drug companies roughly $10 a vial to make that insulin.
State of the Union was so much more fun.
Packaging and all, you may get up to $13. But Big Pharma has been unfairly charging people hundreds of dollars, $400 to $500 a month.
Oh, he's gonna go after
making
Big Pharma?
record
Seriously?
profits. Not anymore.
These people are the
Not
biggest
anymore.
Big Pharma. What are you talking about? Are you kidding me? These people are the biggest Big Pharma shills there are. Yeah, my prescription, well, I only have a couple, but they did go up.
So many things that we did.
Things like allergies and
only
stuff,
now
nothing
coming
big.
to fruition. We said we were doing this, and we said we passed the law to do it, but people didn't know because the law didn't take effect until January 1 of this year. We capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare. People are just finding out. I'm sure you're getting the same calls I'm getting. Look, there are millions of other Americans who do not or are not.
Oh, Michael, okay, there you are.
Including 200,000 young people with type 1 diabetes and need this insulin to stay alive. Let's finish the job this time. Let's cap the cost of insulin for everybody at $35. Folks, Big Pharma's still going to do very well, I promise y'all.
Michael, I'm putting some of the images I've come up with here. If you want to hone in on the ones that you think are cooler, I'm having trouble getting it to do one arm and one eye.
Costs for seniors on Medicare at a maximum.
I don't know where it's getting the alligator from.
You don't have to pay more than $2,000
I guess
no
swamp.
matter how much your drug costs are. Because you know why? You all know it.
If you guys wonder what I'm talking about, if you give me a $5 super chat or higher, I will put in your description for an AI image, and then I can give it to you in Discord or something.
Drug companies are going to have to pay.
It actually costs money to do that, so that's the only reason I'm like charging for it. Each computation you use costs something.
Power to negotiate drug prices, bringing down prescription drug costs.
You're limited on how many you get.
It cuts the federal deficit by billions of dollars.
The Whites meeting.
By hundreds of billions of dollars. Because these prescription drugs are drugs purchased by Medicare to keep their commitment to the seniors. Well, guess what? Instead of paying $400 or $500 a month, you're paying $15. That's a lot of savings for the federal government. And by the way, why do we want that? Now some members here are threatening, and I know it's not an official party position, so I'm not going to exaggerate.
But
threatening to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. As my coach.
Oh, William Evans, thanks, man. That's another one from you. What do you want me? You want me to make you an image, an AI image? Just tell me. Give me a description. I'll plug it in. Michael, I posted yours in Discord.
Mistake. If you try anything to raise the cost of prescription drugs, I will veto it. Look, I'm pleased to say that more Americans have health insurance now than ever in history. A record 16 million people are enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. And thanks to the law I signed last year, millions are saving $800 a year on their premiums. And by the way, that law was written and the benefit expires in 2025. So my plea to some of you, at least in this audience, let's finish the job and make these savings permanent. Expand coverage of Medicaid.
Expand coverage, expand dependence, expand the state.
The Inflation Reduction Act is also the most significant investment
Spend
ever
more.
in climate change.
Secure Democrat Party power through dependence. And illegal
Lower
immigration.
utility bill, creating American jobs.
Which, YouTube, don't accuse me of saying anything about a certain theory, because I'm just repeating what Democrats themselves have said, and they're on record on 10-minute long videos talking about, so,
Canadian border.
including on my channel.
More timber has been burned, as I've observed from helicopters.
More
during the
timber
entire
is
state of
burned.
Missouri. And we don't have global warming? Not a problem. In addition to emergency recovery, from Puerto Rico to Florida to Idaho, we're rebuilding for the long term. New electric grids that are able to weather major storms and not prevent those forest fires. Roads and water systems withstand the next big flood. Clean energy to cut pollution and create jobs in communities often left behind. We're going to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations installed across the country by tens of thousands of IBEW workers. And we're helping families save more than $1,000 a year with tax credits to purchase electric vehicles and efficient appliances, energy-efficient appliances. Historic conservation efforts to be responsible stewards of our land. Let's face reality.
What's the official
Climate crisis
drinking
doesn't care if you're
rules? I
red
forgot
or blue
already.
state. It's an existential threat.
Sorry, I'm
We
sidetracked
have an
by
obligation, not to ourselves,
working
but
on
to our
Michael's
children and grandchildren to confront
AI
it.
drawings here,
I'm
drawings.
proud of how America at last is stepping up to the challenge.
At last
We're still
is
going to need oil and
becoming
gas for a
communist.
while. But guess what? No, we do. But there's so much more to do. We got to finish the job. And we pay for these investments in our future by finally making the wealthiest and biggest corporations begin to pay their fair share. Just begin. Look, I'm a capitalist.
No, you're not. Stop it.
I think a lot of you at
Stop
home.
it.
agree
He's a
with
supporter
me.
of equity.
People
There's nothing
know.
capitalist about equity. It's
Tax
straight up
system is
communism,
not
guys and
fair.
girls.
It is not fair. Look, the idea that in 2020, 55 of the largest corporations in America, the Fortune 500, made $40 billion in profits.
Yeah, that's what a business is supposed to
Zero in
do.
federal taxes? Zero? Folks, it's simply not fair. But now, because of the law I signed,
I don't know about that. I don't think
billion-dollar
that's
companies
true.
have to pay a minimum of 15%. God love them. 15%. That's less than a nurse pays. And let me be crystal clear. I said at the very beginning.
Well,
under my plans, as
all
long
right,
as I'm
so the
president,
issue there
nobody
isn't the
earning less than
corporations, it's the
$400,000
loopholes
will pay an
that are in there, so
additional
close the
penny in taxes.
loopholes.
Nobody.
But they
not
won't
one
actually do
penny.
that because they use the loopholes.
Well, let's finish the job. There's more to do.
So
We have
they're
to
like,
do
oh,
the
the
work,
corporations
not
should be
just
paying more. But they have these loopholes
That's my
in
proposal.
the tax code.
Billionaire minimum tax.
They're there. Like, do you
No.
expect them not to
There's
use them?
1,000 billionaires in America. It's up from about.
It's hard to run a business. The bottom line, I mean, they talk about
No
these profits,
billionaire
but I mean,
should be paying a lower tax rate than a school teacher or firefighter.
that's what a business is supposed to do. That's the whole
I mean
purpose,
it.
make profits.
Think about it.
I think the corporations should pay
I mean,
taxes, don't get me wrong.
Look,
But
I know you aren't enthusiastic about that, but think about it. Think about it. Have you noticed Big Oil just reported its profits, record profits? Last year they made
Yeah, that's correct. The rich pay a lot more in taxes than we
in the
do.
midst of a global energy crisis. I think it's outrageous.
But they're always, you know, they talk about a percentage of what they
They
make.
invested
And
too little of that profit to increase domestic production. And when I talk to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells, all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them? I said, we're going to need oil for at least another decade. And that's going to exceed.
that was a good moment right there. Hey, what's up, Driddle?
If they had in
Good to
fact
see you, buddy.
invested in the production to keep
The
gas
show
prices
goes.
down. Instead, they used the record profits to buy back
They laughed at him.
rewarding the CEOs
That
and
was
shareholders.
great.
Corporations ought to do the right thing. That's
They're
why I
right to
propose
laugh.
to
10 years?
quadruple
Come
the tax
on.
Corporate stock buybacks and encourage long-term
Hey,
investment.
you know what? If we make some major breakthrough in
They'll still make
some
some
other
of the profit.
technology, then I could see it. But it's
Let's
going to have to be
finish
something
the
like
job and close the loopholes that allow very
fission
wealthy
or
to
something,
avoid paying their
or
taxes.
fusion.
Instead of cutting the number of audits for wealthy taxpayers, I just signed a law to reduce the deficit by
Oh, thanks, Rob.
$114
Appreciate it,
billion
buddy.
by
That's nice of you.
cracking down on wealthy tax cheats. That's being fiscally responsible. In the last 2 years, my administration has cut the deficit by more than
Yeah, seriously.
$1.7 trillion.
You guys hear the death toll of
The
Ukrainian
largest deficit
soldiers? I
reduction
think
in American
the
history.
latest is about 150,000.
Under the previous
Isn't that wild?
administration,
150,000
American deficits went up
soldiers
4
dead.
years in a row. Because those record deficits, no president added more to the national debt in any 4 years than my predecessor. Nearly 25% of the entire national debt that took over 200 years to accumulate was added by just one administration alone, the last one. They're the facts. Check it out. Check it out. How did Congress respond to that debt? They did the right thing. They lifted the debt ceiling 3 times without preconditions or crisis. They paid American bills to prevent an economic disaster.
Biden himself said that it's irresponsible. In 2004, I believe, Biden said himself that it's irresponsible to keep raising the debt ceiling, and that it's just a political move to do it. And yet, that's what he's doing now.
Some of my Republican
That's what the
friends
Democrats do every time this
wanna take
happens.
The economy hostage. I get it.
Oh, take the
Unless I
economy
agree with their
hostage. Here we go.
economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal.
You know, as much as they talk about inciting violence and all this kind of, that's not true. And it's funny that they're showing Scalise there because Scalise was the victim of a Democrat who launched a domestic terrorist attack against Republicans, screaming, "This is for health care." So, you know, they always come after calling Republicans terrorists and holding the country hostage and this kind of stuff. But it's okay for them to do.
I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Look, folks, the idea is
Someone called him a liar.
we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks,
the sign language lady is a little emotive. Like, they must get somebody who's like a big fan of Biden. Like she must be actually like part of the
Social Security
administration.
Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be stopped.
I don't know that for a fact, but
All right.
she seems very happy with Biden.
I'm ready. We got unanimity.
Unanimity.
Social Security and Medicare are a lifeline for millions of seniors. Americans have to pay into them from the very first paycheck they started. So tonight, let's all agree.
Oh, I guess that is.
Apparently we are. Let's stand up for seniors.
Stand up, Chuck. Stand up for
Stand
Chuck.
up and show them.
Here we go.
We'll not cut Social Security.
Stand
We will
up,
not
Chuck.
cut Medicare. Those benefits belong to the American people. They earned it. And if anyone
For those
tries
of you
to
who
cut
don't
Social
know,
Security, which apparently no one's going to do,
when he was giving a speech like this one other time, he said he told this guy to stand up, and he was
I'll stop.
paralyzed in a
I'll veto it.
wheelchair. He's like, stand up,
I'm
Chuck.
not going to allow them to be taken away. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But apparently it's not going to be a problem. Next month, when I offer my fiscal plan, I ask my Republican friends to lay down their plan as well. I really mean it. Let's sit down together.
Seriously.
And discuss
I'm
our
not
mutual
joking.
plans together. Let's do that.
F him. I say they don't work with him on anything
I can tell
because
you.
this is the way the Democrats would be.
Plan
Why
I'm gonna
wouldn't
share
we
is
just
gonna
do the
cut
same
deficit
thing?
by another $2 trillion.
Because when we don't,
And it won't
we just
cut
end
a
up
single
losing.
bit of Medicare or Social Security. In
Not
fact,
sure we end up winning
we're
the
gonna
other way,
extend
but
the
we
Medicare
don't necessarily
Trust
give
Fund
them a
At
win.
least 2 decades, because that's going to be the next argument. How do we make?
But that's all that
it
ever
solid, right?
happens, you know. They
Well,
never get held to their own
We'll not raise
standards. We have
taxes
to
on
hold
anyone
tight.
making under 400 grand,
But I doubt that happens. Too many rhinos.
pay for it the way we talked about tonight, by making sure that the wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share. Look. Here's the deal. They aren't just taking advantage of the tax code. They're taking advantage of you, the American consumer. Here's my message to all of you out there. I have your back. We're already preventing Americans from receiving surprise medical bills, stopping $1 billion surprise bills per month so far. We're protecting seniors' life savings by cracking down on nursing homes that commit fraud, endanger patient safety, prescribe drugs that are not needed. Millions of Americans can now save thousands of dollars because they can finally get a hearing aid over the counter without a prescription. Look, capitalism without competition is not capitalism. It's
He's just going to say
extortion.
capitalism a lot. That's just like how clear they are. You know that
Last
they're
year, I
clear
cracked
because
down with the help of many of you
KJP
on
says
foreign
that they're
shipping
being
companies
clear over
who
and
are
over.
making you
So
pay higher prices for every good coming into the country. I signed a bipartisan bill to cut shipping costs by 90%, helping American farmers, businessmen, and consumers. Let's finish the job. Pass the bipartisan legislation to strengthen antitrust enforcement and prevent big online platforms from giving their own products an unfair advantage. My administration is also taking on junk fees, those hidden surcharges too many companies use to make you pay more. For example, we're making airlines show you the full ticket price up front, refund your money if your flight is canceled or delayed. We've reduced exorbitant bank overdrafts by saving consumers more than $1 billion a year. We're cutting credit card late fees.
we're cutting
by
credit cards.
75% from $30 to $8.
I can't say anything. I do that kind of stuff all the time.
Look,
Oh God! Look at it! Look at!
Junk
Look at! Look!
may not matter to the very wealthy, but they matter to most other folks in homes like the one I grew up in, like many of you did.
Did everybody
They
see
add
that?
up to hundreds of dollars a month. They make it harder for you to pay your bills or afford that family trip. I know how unfair it feels when a company
That was
overcharges you
crazy.
and gets away with it. Not anymore. We've written a bill to stop
Maxine
it all. It's
Waters
called the
grabbed,
Junk Fee Prevention
I forget
Act.
what his name is. All of a
We're gonna
sudden,
ban
like, grabbed his
surprise
hand and like made him
resort
stand
fees.
up, and he obviously didn't
Hotels
want to.
charging on
He was
your
trying to like
bill.
tear his hand away
Those
from
fees
her.
can cost you up to $90
I got to go
a
back
night.
and make a little video of that.
Aren't even resorts.
Wish I knew the
We-
timestamp.
The idea that cable, internet, and cell phone companies can charge you $200 or more if you decide to switch to another provider. Give me a break. We can stop service fees on tickets to concerts and sporting events and make companies disclose all the fees up front. And we'll prohibit airlines from charging $50 round trip for a family just to be able to sit together. Baggage fees are bad enough. Airlines can't treat
I
the
just
child like a
wrote
piece
down the
of baggage.
timestamp, Riddle.
Americans are tired
It's
of
about
being
44 seconds,
We're
or
tired
that's
of being
when I.
played for
So it would have been like 41 second mark about.
surpassed. Pass the junk-free
I
prevention
did not
Act
clip it
so
because I'm
companies
streaming
stop
right
ripping
now,
us
but I'll
off.
get it later.
For too long, workers have been getting stiffed, but not anymore.
I don't want to hear you talking about
Beginning to
anything
restore
getting
the dignity
stiff,
of work.
Biden. Jeez.
For example,
Keep it to yourself, dude.
I should have known this, but I didn't until 2 years ago. 30 million workers have to sign non-compete agreements for the jobs they take. 30 million. So a cashier at a burger place can't walk across town.
Oh man, how long is this gonna go?
Make a few bucks more.
I'm already done.
But they just changed it because we exposed it. That was part of the deal, guys. Look it up. But not anymore.
Look it up. Google it.
Companies have to compete for workers and pay them what they're worth.
Well, what a worker is worth is really what they are able to get negotiated. It's not for the government to decide.
This is bound to get a response from my friends on my left but the right. I'm so sick and tired of companies breaking the law by preventing workers from organizing. Pass the PRO Act, because businesses have a right. Workers have a right to form a union.
I love capitalism. No, I'm not like necessarily. Well,
Let's guarantee all workers have a living wage.
the idea of a union
Let's
in
make
general,
sure
I'm
working
okay with.
parents
It's
can
just,
afford to raise
you know,
a
what it
family with
eventually
6 days.
turns into,
Paid
apparently.
family medical leave, affordable child care. That's going to enable millions of more people to go and stay at work, and let's restore the full.
It's so weird how
child
he's
tax
acting so
credit.
moderate, you know, talking about cabinet. Oh my
Tens of millions of
God.
parents are
I have the
breathing
TV on. We're about
Cut
to see
child
something
poverty
really,
in half to the lowest level
really.
of
I'm going to have to
By
take
the way,
another
when we do all these
timestamp
things,
here in a
we
second.
increase productivity. We increase economic growth.
Must be. Hopefully, it's the
So
next
let's finish the
applause
job
line.
and get more families access.
There's an
to
alien.
affordable
There's an
quality
alien
housing.
in the audience.
Let's get seniors. who
Oh
wanna
wait,
stay in their homes
oh, you
and
know
care
what? We
they
may
need
not
to
see it
do
because
so.
it's different cameras.
Let's
That's what
give
it
more
is.
breathing room to millions of family caregivers looking after.
I thought
their
it would.
loved
The
ones.
TV was ahead, but I think
Pass my plan, so we get seniors and people with disabilities the home care and services they need, and support. The
Yeah, it's
workers
different
who are
cameras, that's
doing
what it is.
God's work.
damn.
These plans are fully paid for, and we can afford to do them. Restoring the dignity of work means making education an affordable ticket to the middle class. You know, when we made public education, 12 years of it, universal in the last century, we made the best educated, best paid, we became the best educated, best paid nation in the world.
His
The
diaper's
rest of the
almost
world's caught
full.
up. It's caught up. Jill, my wife, who
No,
teaches
Riddle.
full-time,
What are
has an
the? What's her
expression.
face?
I hope I get it
Is
right.
that Sonny? Is that Bono?
Any nation that out-educates
Is,
us
is that who that is?
Any nation that out-educates can out-compete us.
Sitting downwind
Folks, we all
from Joe
know
Biden.
12 years of education is
yeah,
not
the bald
enough to
lady.
win
I
the
can't think of her
economic
name. The bald lady.
competition of the 21st century.
She's in some kind of ridiculous white. Again, it looks like something I would see at the Grammys.
Let's finish the job by
You
providing
might be able to
access
see her when
to
it shows.
preschool for 3 and 4 years old.
She's in there somewhere. I don't see
Studies
her.
show
though.
that children who go to preschool are nearly 50%
Hey, Riddle, you
more
should
likely
stop
to
by,
finish high school and go on to earn a 2 or 4
Discord
year
after
degree,
this and
no
play a
matter their
game of,
background where they came from.
Fortnite with me.
Let's give public school teachers a raise.
No. You know what? I'll give real teachers a raise, but not what we have in the schools right now. People are so
We're
dumb
making
on that.
progress.
Oh yeah, give teachers a raise. Yeah, I'm a good person and teachers are good, so let's give them a raise.
Working in middle-class families.
They're already making a
Finish the
lot
job.
and not
Connect
actually
students
getting
to
good
career opportunities
results.
Starting in high school. Provide access to 2 years of community college.
The teachers
The
union's
best career
filled with
training in America,
freaking
in addition to being
extremists.
A pathway to a 4-year degree. Let's offer every American a path to a good career, whether they go to college or not.
Kurt, World of Tank. I like tanks. World of Tanks, yeah.
Folks, in the midst of the COVID crisis,
World of
when
Ships.
schools were closed and we were shutting down everything, let's recognize how far we came in the fight against the pandemic itself.
I play mostly Fortnite though, unfortunately,
Well, the
just
virus is
because
not gone.
it's a good game. Don't
Thanks
get me
to
wrong.
resilience
It's
of
one of the best
American
games I think
people,
out there, but
the ingenuity of
I just don't have time really to get into
broken
anything
the
else.
COVID grip on
Fortnite's good. I can get in and out.
COVID deaths are down by 90%. We've saved millions of lives and opened up our country. We opened our country back up, and soon we'll end the public health emergency. But that's called a public health emergency. But we'll remember the toll and pain that's never going to go away. More than 1 million Americans lost their lives to COVID. 1 million. families grieving, children orphaned, empty chairs at the dining room table constantly reminding you that she used to sit there,
Right.
remembering them.
Yeah.
We
It
remain
was from
vigilant.
a virus.
We
well,
still need to monitor.
we don't even
dozens
really
of
know what the
variants
actual
and
true
support new
number is,
vaccines
but
and
I don't
treatments.
want to get into that
So
for
Congress
obvious
needs to
reasons.
fund these efforts and keep America safe. And as we emerge from this crisis stronger, we're also got to double down on prosecuting criminals who stole relief money meant to keep workers and small businesses afloat.
Like, why didn't they have a system in place so that couldn't happen in the first place? They were just like giving away checks, and now they're like, oh, now we're gonna we're gonna go back, we're gonna act like we're doing something proactive when really we're just cleaning up the mess we made ourselves in the first place
Inspector generals who would protect taxpayers' dollars
with our
on the sideline.
incompetence.
They were fired,
They were just giving
Many
out
people
checks to
said we don't
people
need
like
them.
no questions asked.
and fraud became rampant. Last year, I told you the watchdogs are back.
You think?
Since then, we've recovered billions of taxpayers' dollars. Now let's triple the anti-fraud strike force going after these criminals, double the statute of limitations on these crimes, and crack down on identity fraud by criminal syndicates stealing billions of dollars from the American people. And the data shows that for every dollar we put into fighting fraud, the taxpayers get back at least 10 times as much. It matters. It matters. Look, COVID left its scar.
Riddle, no. No, there
Spike in
isn't.
violent crime in 2020, the first year of the pandemic. We have an obligation to make
God,
sure.
why are we
all
still
people are
talking
safe.
about that? Like, I don't know
Public
about
safety
you all,
depends on
but
public trust as always.
life returned to normal for me pretty
too
much
often
in
that trust is
2020,
violated.
if I remember right.
Join us tonight are the parents
End of 2020.
of Tyree Nichols. Welcome.
Why don't white unarmed victims of police ever get invited to anything like this ever? What are they applauding exactly? What is there to
I had
applaud?
to bury Tyree last week. As many of you personally know, there's no words to describe the heartache or grief of losing a child.
Don't, if he makes it
Imagine.
racial,
Imagine if you lost that child at the hands of the law. Imagine having to worry whether your son or daughter came home from walking down the street, or playing in the park, or just driving a car. Most of us in here have never had to have the talk.
oh God, here we go.
Talk.
It was black
Brown and
police.
parents have had to have with their children. Bo, Hunter, Ashley, my children. I never had to have the talk with them.
Why? More white
Never had
people
to
are
tell
killed
them
by
that
police.
police
What is he
officer pulled you
talking
over.
about?
Turn your interior lights
We don't
on.
have the talk because the talk is actually bad. The talk actually
Don't make sure your
instills
license.
paranoia
Keep your
and
hands on the
racism and
steering wheel.
hate. So the talk is actually part of the
Imagine having to
problem,
worry like
actually.
that every single time your kid got in a car.
Oh,
Here's what Tyree's mother shared with me when I spoke to her. When I asked her how she finds the courage to carry on and speak out. The faith of God, she said her son was, quote, a beautiful soul, and something good will come of this. Imagine how much courage and character that takes. It's up to
yeah,
us.
it's too bad you're making it about race
all
when it
want the
actually has
same
nothing
thing.
to do with race.
Neighborhoods free of violence. Law enforcement who earns the community's trust. Just as every cop, when they pin on that badge in the morning, has a right to be able to go home at night, so does everybody else out there. Our children have a right to come home safely.
It is really disgusting how they just they literally ignore that like white people, unarmed white people are murdered by police.
Each other in America.
More of them. Now, we know they'll say per capita
We know.
it happens to black people more, but there are
Police
other
officers
reasons
put
besides
their lives on the
racism to
line
explain
every
that,
single night and
or at
day.
least chunks of it.
We know we ask them in many cases to do too much. to
At
be
the very
counselors,
least.
social workers, psychologists.
But he
responding
can't
to
talk about
drug
it. He can't,
overdoses, mental health crises, and so much more.
There's no political benefit to them
In
to
one
do
sense,
that.
we ask much too much of them. I know most cops and their families are good, decent, honorable people, the vast majority. But they risk.
You know what? I'm gonna disagree there too, because I think There may be some good cops out there, but it seems like most of them, maybe through no fault of their own, just bad training.
But what happened to Tyree in Memphis happens too often. We have to do better. Give law enforcement the real training they need. Hold them to higher standards. Help them succeed in keeping us safe.
Yeah, I mean, police.
We also need more first responders.
Way too many police. They literally think the Constitution is like
more resources,
like
violent crime and gun crime.
almost like an idea, an abstract idea, not something ethereal, not a literal thing. That they take an oath to it, they take an oath to uphold the Constitution, but it's still, they don't think it's like a real thing, and that's a problem.
Police officers or police departments
When people bring up the Constitution to them, they laugh. They think it's funny,
accountable.
It's weird. And I've seen way too many at this point to think it's a small problem, to believe that a majority of the police are good. I don't know about that. I think a combination of their bad training and just the job itself corrupts them.
Banning chokeholds, restricting no-knock warrants, and other key elements of the George Floyd Act. Let's commit ourselves to make the words of Tyler's mom true. Something good must come from this. Something good.
Well, what if what they do actually increases crime and does not? It actually does the opposite of good, but we'll never hear about it. That's the thing. We'll never hear about it. I mean, you might hear about it in Fox or something, but that'll be it. God, stop applauding these people. They're just parents of a guy who got killed by corrupt police. And I don't think we really have all the facts to that, or will ever.
It's difficult, but it's simple. All of us in this chamber, we need to rise to this moment. We can't turn away. Let's do what we know in our hearts that we need to do. Let's come together to finish the job on police reform. Do something. Do something. That was the plea of parents who lost their children in Uvalde. I met with every one of them. Do something about gun violence. Thank God. Thank God we did.
No, they're just targeting law-abiding. They need to do something that targets the bad people. Targeting a bunch of law-abiding people is not going to do anything, actually. I don't see why it would.
Enhanced background checks for 18 to 21 years old. Red flag laws, keeping guns out of the hands of people who are a danger to themselves and others. But we know our work
But every single one of these mass shootings are by people who were under the radar of the FBI. So what evidence is there that any of this would do anything?
Dreams on hold to be at his mom's side. His mom's side when she was dying from cancer.
This is so weird. It really is like the awards ceremonies, like the Grammys and all that stuff.
Brandon now works at a dance studio started by his grandparents.
And I'd say that if Trump was doing it as well.
During the
maybe more so.
Celebration, he heard the studio door close, and he saw a man standing there pointing a semi-automatic pistol at him. He thought he was going to die, but he thought about the people inside. And in that instant, he found the courage to act and wrestled a semi-automatic pistol away from the gunman who had already killed 11 people in another dance studio. 11. He saved lives. It's time we do the same. Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now. Once and for all.
Banning assault weapons means most guns, everybody.
1994. In 10 years, that ban was law.
None of these people applauding has any idea what an assault weapon is. They don't know.
Mass shootings tripled. Let's finish the job and ban these assault weapons. And let's also come together on immigration. Make it a bipartisan issue once again. We now have a record number of personnel working to secure the border, arresting 8,000 human smugglers, seizing over 23,000 pounds of fentanyl in just the last several months. We've launched a new border plan last month. Unlawful migration from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela has come down 97% as a consequence of that. But American border problems won't be fixed until Congress acts. If we don't pass my comprehensive immigration reform, at least pass my plan to provide the equipment and officers to secure the border.
What? I mean, yeah, but
And
like,
a pathway to citizenship
what do you?
for dreamers, those on temporary
Like,
status,
you're the
farm
problem with
workers,
the border.
essential
You're the one that wants it open. Democrats
We're
want it
the
open
people's
because they
house.
think that it's going
It's
to
our duty to
bring in a
protect
new
all the
electorate to
people's
give
rights.
them permanent
Congress must
power.
restore the
That's
right.
what they talk about all the time.
Congress must restore the right that was taken away in Roe v. Wade and protect Roe v. Wade. Give every woman a constitutional right. The Vice President and I are doing everything to protect access to reproductive health care and safeguard patient safety. But already more than a dozen states are enforcing extreme abortion bans. Make no mistake about it. If Congress passes a national ban, I will veto it. But let's also pass.
I don't think anybody's calling for that, are they? I thought the whole idea was just leave it to the states.
Equality Act to ensure LGBTQ Americans, especially transgender young people, can live with safety and dignity. Our strength is not just the example of our power, but the power of our example. Let's remember the world's watching. I spoke in this chamber 1 year ago, just days after Vladimir Putin unleashed his brutal attack against Ukraine. A murderous assault, evoking images of death and destruction Europe suffered in World War II. Putin's invasion has been a test for the ages, a test for America, a test for the world. Would we stand for the most basic of principles? Would we stand for sovereignty? Would we stand for the right of people to live free of tyranny? Would we stand for the defense of democracy? For such defense matters to us because it keeps peace and prevents open season on would-be aggressors and threatens our prosperity. 1 year later, we know the answer. Yes, we would, and we did. We did. And together, we did what America always does at our best. We led. We united NATO. We built a global coalition. We stood against Putin's aggression. We stood with the Ukrainian people. Tonight, we're once again joined by Ukrainian's ambassador to the United States. She represents not just her nation, but the courage of her people. Ambassador,
Yeah, he's slurred a lot more.
we're united in our support of your country.
He's boring the crap out of me. I'm about to fall asleep.
Look at you.
I've had a rough day.
Thank you.
Just usual day with the kids, but one of them's homesick, so I had two of them home instead of just one.
Because we're going to stand with you as long as it takes. Our nation is working for more freedom, more dignity, more peace, not just in Europe, but everywhere. Before I came to office, the story was about how the People's Republic of China was increasing its power and America was failing in the world. Not anymore. We made clear, and I made clear in my personal conversations, which have been many, with President Xi, that we seek competition, not conflict. But I will
They
make
seek
no
conflict.
apologies that we're investing to make America stronger. Investing in American innovation and industries will
I get so
define the
annoyed by
future
this because
of
it was
China
Trump that
and
armed
China's
Ukraine
dominance.
initially in the first place. So like
Investing
it was
in our
Biden that
allies,
didn't. It was Biden that
working with
instigated
our
the
allies to
original
protect advanced
incursion into
technology
Ukraine by
so they
Russia.
will not be used
Like,
against us.
where does he get off?
Modernizing our military to safeguard stability and deter aggression. Today, we're in the strongest position in decades to compete with China or anyone else in the world. Anyone else in the world. And I'm committed. I'm committed to work with China where we can advance American interests and benefit the world. But make no mistake about it. As we made clear last week, if China threatens our sovereignty, We will act to protect our country, and we did.
Wait, like it was already left. How were you protecting the country by letting it go?
Let's be clear.
He blew it up over the ocean.
Competition should unite all of us.
Or
We face
the Air
serious
Force
challenges
did.
across the world. But in the past 2 years, democracies have become stronger, not weaker. Autocracies have grown weaker, not stronger. Name me a world leader who changed places with Xi Jinping. Name me one. Name me one. America's rallying the world to meet those challenges, from climate to global health.
Why is he screaming at everybody? Like what? It does not come off as like strength. It comes off as just an old man yelling at you.
The bridges we're forming between partners in the Pacific and those in the Atlantic, and those who bet against America are learning how wrong they are. It's never, ever been a good bet to bet against America. Never. Well, when I came to office, most assured that bipartisanship assumed was impossible.
What is this, a football
I
game?
never believed it. That's why a year ago I offered a unity agenda to the nation as I stood here. We made real progress together. We passed a law making it easy for doctors to prescribe effective treatments for opioid addiction. We passed the gun safety law, making historic investments in mental health. We launched the ARPA-H drive for breakthrough in the fights against cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes, and so much more. We passed.
Hey, I love America. I just
Lee
hate,
Robinson
obviously.
Act, named after
I just
the
hate when
late
people
Iraq
who
War
are
veteran's
commie
story about exposing
allies of the CCP
toxic burn
chanting
kits I
USA,
shared here last year.
trying to pretend like they love this country when they actually just want to tear it down.
I understand something about those burn pits, but there's so much more to do. And we can do it together. Joining us tonight is a father named Doug from Newton, New Hampshire.
Right
He
back,
wrote
folks. We need
Jill,
to use the
my
restroom.
wife, a letter, and me as well, about his courageous daughter, Courtney. A contagious laugh, his sister's best friend, her sister's best friend. He shared a story all too familiar to millions of Americans and many of you in the audience. Courtney discovered pills in high school. It spiraled into addiction and eventually death from a fentanyl overdose. She was just 20 years old. Describing the last 8 years without her, Doug said, "There's no worse pain." Yet their family has turned pain to purpose, working to end the stigma and change laws. He told us he wants to start a journey toward American recovery. Doug, we're with you. Fentanyl is killing more than 70,000 Americans a year. Big, you got it. So let's launch a major surge to stop fentanyl production and the sale and trafficking, with more drug detection machines, inspection cargo, stop pills and powder at the border. Working with couriers like FedEx to inspect more packages for drugs. Strong penalties to crack down on fentanyl trafficking. Second, let's do more on mental health, especially for our children. When millions of young people are struggling with bullying, violence, trauma, we owe them greater access to mental health care at their schools. We must finally hold social media companies accountable for experimenting they're doing running children for profit. It's time to pass bipartisan legislation to stop big tech from collecting personal data on our kids and teenagers online. Ban targeted advertising to children and impose stricter limits on the personal data that companies collect on all of us. Third, let's do more to keep this nation's one truly sacred obligation to equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home. Job training, job placement for veterans and their spouses as they come to return to civilian life. Helping veterans afford the rent because no one should be homeless in America, especially someone who served the country. Dennis McDonough is here of the VA. We had a first real discussion when I asked him to take the job. I'm glad he did. We were losing up to 25 veterans a day on suicide. Now we're losing 17 a day to the silent scourge of suicide. 17 veterans a day are committing suicide. More than all the people being killed in the wars. Folks, VA is doing everything it can, including expanding mental health screening, proven programs that recruits veterans to help other veterans understand what they're going through, get them the help they need. We got to do more. And fourth, last year, Jill and I reignited the cancer moonshot that I was able to start with President Obama asked me to lead our administration on this issue. Our goal is to cut the cancer death rates at least by 50% in the next 25 years. Turn more cancers from death sentences to treatable diseases. Provide more support for patients and their families. It's personal to so many of us in this audience. Joining us are Morris and Candice, an Irishman and the daughter of immigrants from Panama. They met and fell in love in New York City and got married in the same chapel Jill and I got married in New York City. Kindred spirits. He wrote us a letter about his little daughter, Ava, and I saw her just before I came over.
Hey, sorry.
She was just a year old when she was diagnosed with rare kidney disease, cancer. After 26 blood transfusions, 11 rounds of radiation, 8 rounds of chemo,
8 rounds of chemo.
Given a 5% survival rate. He wrote how in the darkest moments he thought if she goes,
she played 8 rounds of
I can't
keno,
stay.
and she won big.
Many of you have been through that as well. Jill and I understand that like so many of you. And he read Jill's book describing our family's cancer journey and how we tried to steal moments
He's starting to
of
whisper
joy
more and more.
where we could with Bo. For them,
I'm
that
done
joy
yelling
was the
for
half
tonight,
smile
everybody.
Of their baby girl.
Joe's
And
winding down now.
They never gave up hope.
I'm gonna go
Elena
play some
never gave
keno.
up hope. She turns 4 next month.
Can you believe it?
They just found
Not a
out.
joke.
Abe is beating the odds. Is on her way
No, that
to
is cool
cure
though,
the
actually.
cancer.
Good for her.
And she's watching from the White House tonight, and she's not asleep already. For the lives we can save. For the lives we can save and the lives we've lost, let this be a truly American moment that rallies the country and the world together and prove that we can still do big
A guy who
things.
champions equity,
20
who
years
wants
ago,
the
in the
government to
leadership of
enforce
President
equity,
Bush,
cannot talk to me
countless
about an
advocates and
American
champions.
moment. I'm
And it
sorry.
took a bipartisan effort
This whole
to
thing
get
is
that
just
far,
like.
to transform the global fight against HIV/AIDS.
Have you
It's
guys
been a
seen? Have you guys seen the
huge
video
success.
of
He thought
Harris
big.
talking about
He
equity
thought
and how it
hard.
means everybody should
He
have the
moved.
same, should get the same thing and have the
I
same.
believe we can do the
Everybody
same
should
thing
be at
with
the same
cancer.
level. Like that's communism. That's what they espouse. They're not capitalists. They're
Let's
not
end cancer
pro-America.
now.
That's the antithesis of America.
Cure some cancers
They think
once and for all.
they would be bringing up all the downtrodden by doing that, but the
one
truth
reason
is
why
they would
we've
just be
been able to
making
do all
everybody
these
equally
things.
downtrodden.
Our democracy itself. It's the most fundamental
Innovation,
thing of all.
motivation
Democracy.
would be gone and replaced with stagnation.
Without it.
That's where we're headed with Democrat power.
The last few years.
I'm not sure we're better off with the
threatened
Republicans,
attack.
mind you. I
Put it
honestly, I don't know what the hell the
Test
Republicans stand for.
this
I couldn't
very
tell
room
you.
On January the 6th.
I don't know
And
anymore.
then just a few months ago, an unhinged big lie.
Oh God, here we go.
Political violence
A
over
big
the then
lie.
Speaker of the House of
Different
Representatives,
lie than the ones I was
using the
telling.
very same language
Bigger
the
lies.
insurrectionists used as
Oh.
they stalked these halls and chanted on January 6th.
Oh my God,
Here's
they
an Irish
chanted.
chamber.
The
There's
insurrectionists,
no embarrassing
they
scars of that
chanted.
political
And as you know, being in
As tough
a
and as
public
strong and resilient as they get.
building and
Watching
chanting,
the
that's an
populace
insurrection.
Oh God. Oh God, she's there. Where did she come from? I didn't notice her there before.
But such a heinous act should have never happened. We must all speak out. There's no place for political violence in America. We have to protect the right to vote, not suppress the fundamental right. Honor the results of our elections, not subvert the will of the people. We have to uphold the rule of law and restore trust in our institutions of democracy.
It's Bono,
We
yeah.
must
I was
keep
asking that
hate
earlier.
and extremism in any form, no safe harbor.
I mean, oh God, this is the worst of it right here, man.
Democracy must not be a partisan issue. It's an American issue. Every generation of Americans has faced a moment where...
Like, why didn't the Republicans and Trump do this with the political violence and make it on the left? They didn't do that. Why didn't they do that?
My fellow Americans,
I mean, they talked about the riots and
tonight
stuff.
is a
I remember
reflection
Trump
point.
did, but
one of those moments that only a few generations ever face, where the direction we now take is going to decide the course of this nation for decades to come.
right.
Not bystanders.
Are we gonna be a nation of drag queens
Not
stripping for
powerless before
kids,
the forces that confront
where men
us.
can have babies? Is that the
It's
future of
within our
America?
power, of we the people. We're facing the test of our time. We have to be the nation we've always been at our best. Optimistic, hopeful, forward-looking. A nation that embraces light over dark, hope over fear, unity over division, stability over chaos. We have to see each other now.
Yeah, Riddle. That's what I was
as
saying.
fellow
It's
Americans.
like
Good
the
people.
Oscars or the Grammys
The
or
only
something.
nation in the world built on an idea. The only one. Other nations are defined by geography, ethnicity. But we're the only nation based on an idea that all of us, every one of us, is created equal in the image of God.
Yeah, equal, not
A nation
equitable.
that stands as a beacon to the world.
It's like very rare you hear a Democrat
nation.
say equality or
New age of
equal. It's about
possibilities.
equity now.
So I've come to
Ugh,
fulfill
back
my
inches.
constitutional obligation to report in the State of the Union. And here's my report. Because the soul of this nation is strong, because the backbone of this nation is strong, because the people of this nation are strong, the State of the Union is strong.
Yeah, I disagree. We wouldn't have a media that lies and lies every day and a president that lies and gets away with it every day if the union was strong. They wouldn't need to be, the media wouldn't need to be doing that if it was strong. They're trying to hold it together with the lies.
I'm not new to this place. I stand here tonight having served as long as about any one of you have ever served here. But I've never been more optimistic about our future, about the future of America. Just to remember who we are. We're the United States of America, and there's nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
We can be united in big ideas, but that doesn't mean we have to. Like, they want us united into their political ideology. That's what he's talking about. The things he's talking about doing are like big left-wing things, not goals of most of the people in this country. And so, that's the problem. Our ideal, the ideas that we have are so divergent now. I don't know if we'll ever bridge that gap again, honestly. Maybe with years of, concerted propaganda and increasingly tightening the screws and down on, the Democrats' political opponents, that they'll do it eventually. I'll say it. You just look at that room. There's a lot of people on the Republican side getting up and applauding with the Democrats. And, most of us are probably in that group of Republicans that were just sitting there. We're a dwindling group. So, well, yeah. That was boring and filled with lies. What do you say? It was a lot of sort of mediocre, taking credit for things he really had nothing to do with or very little to do with. continuing to retell myths to make them true. I always love when they talk about the big lie, and then they have their own big lies that they tell constantly, and they applaud, massive applauds for, Hakeem Jeffries, who is an election denier. And yet when he talks about, respecting the vote, he looks at the Republicans. When he talks about political violence, he looks at the Republicans. And they talk about Pelosi's brother, which, the political link there is minimal. And, when Republicans get attacked, you hear almost nothing about it. There's never a political link made or a link to rhetoric made. When after the GOP baseball game attack years later, they went back and talked about it. You can find interviews. If you don't believe me, go and look up the interviews on the anniversary, and all of them, and every single one of them, they actually turn it around and try to blame Trump and Republican rhetoric, or they'll say like both sides, Trump's rhetoric and rhetoric on our side too. But there's never any of this sort of call to action type stuff happening. Yeah, some people asked about the stand-up Chuck thing. I'll show you that. Hold on. Some people asked about, they'd never seen the stand-up Chuck clip, and I'll show you that right now.
And I also am told that Chuck Graham, state senator, is here. Chuck, stand up, Chuck. Let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about? I tell you what, you're making everybody else stand up there, pal.
Stand up for Chuck.
Very much. I tell you what, stand up for Chuck.
Oh my God.
Thank you, pal.
Embarrass him once, embarrass him twice. Yeah, the guy's in a wheelchair. Now, look, he's...
Tell I'm new. Good to see you, buddy.
Oh my God. Oh man. Oh man. So yeah. Other news, I am going to be making some changes to the channel for anybody that cares. I'm going to be working on a new set here soon. Going to go with some like black curtains and my live on the air sign here, something like that. Going to change it up, try and do something a little bit different. Yeah, going to have a video out tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. Check that out. And I thank you all for watching. There's not a whole lot else to say. I mean, pretty much just commented through the thing. Oh man, he's there talking. You can't see it on here. I'm watching it now, but he's talking to Miley and all the. That Miley guy, man, I really do not trust him. There's a lot of weirdness surrounding him. But I am very tired. I'm going for the Dark Jedi look. Yes. Yeah, I guess I don't need headphones anymore. I am worn out, guys. Everybody, between watching kids and working on a video for like 5 hours, I am worn out, and then doing this. Oh, Smoke Steve, what's up, buddy? Wasn't there a woman who was dead? He referred to state senator who died in a car crash. Oh. No, I'm not sure. Not sure, Smoke Steve. But hey, guys, I'm going to be in Discord. I might play a round or two of Fortnite or Hangout if you guys want to come hang out. Yeah, that was tough to watch, and it made me want to just go to sleep. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thanks to everybody for watching, and I'll see